strength to carry on. Skies above, I still don't know if I am right, but I know that for your love I'll go till world's end tonight.
Hello, High School League of Legends fans, and welcome to the High School Star League's League of Legends Spring Playoffs Round of 8, Stuyvesant High School versus Forest Park High School. My name is Jacob Browatsky, and I'm joined by none other than Shay Seamus Anderson.
And it is a pleasure to be here. So step one, successful. We pronounced Stuyvesant correctly. But step two is going to be analyzing these picks and bans while I'm do a little bit of messing around with the overlay. So by night, picks and bans. Take it away.
All right, will do. So obviously we see the first ban coming in is Echo, new champion who's actually seen a surprising amount of play in the LCS and has done very phenomenally as far as champions go for showing in the LCS. Evelyn banned, a very high pressure early game jungler. It looks like Stuyvesant just doesn't want to have to deal with that early on, and then chooses Zwani, a very strong jungler in this tankier meta. Rek'Sai on the other side, banned by Forest Park High School, also very strong jungler. Most of these bans so far actually are junglers, with Gragas and Lee Sin getting banned out here as well.
You know, if you consider Echo a jungler as well, we have seen him in the LCS as a jungler. That's 6 junglers banned, but of course, power picks open, like this Rise that Omar God is hovering over. What do you think? Do you think they're going to go for the Rise? I feel he's just such a strong champion right now. Yup. Going to be a lock-in.
Yeah, Rise is locked in. So for those of you guys who are a little bit out of the loop, Rise, after his recent changes, which honestly aren't as recent anymore, has become a massive, massive carry threat from the top lane. Essentially, he gets his old level 16 passive power spike at level 6, which makes him incredibly strong early on with so much cooldown. It's ridiculous. All right, so now they're hovering over the Lux. I don't know if we'll see that locked in, although if it is locked in, I won't be super surprised.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any Lux players on their team, but I'm curious to see what they're going to choose to counter out this Rise. We have seen champions like Lulu, champions like Cho'Gath do all right against it in lane. Might look to be the Maokai. Maokai actually wouldn't do too badly against that Rise until he can land multiple Ws in a row. And like you mentioned, get that basically seemingly infinite CDR and lock him up forever. Oh, it's going to be the Aurelia instead. Now, that is a very interesting matchup. And actually, it's going to be Lobby Remake for some reason. Sorry about that, guys. We should be getting into it in just a moment. But, so we already know Rise has been picked up, and it was looking like the Aurelia and the Lux Forest Park. Would that be a mid-Lux or support?
The thing with Lux is she is a very big flex in that you honestly have no idea until you kind of see what the rest of their team looks like. Most likely, I'm expecting her to go mid lane, but the reason why she's not that popular is there are just so many other mid laners that are stronger than her in different areas, which is why it is possible that we could also see her support. But the thing is, there's also other supports that outshine her in most areas, so that's why it's just kind of a surprising pick overall, but it could definitely go either way.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Lux pickup for sure. We don't know quite yet if that's actually going to be an Aurelia or a Maokai. However, let's talk about some of the other champions that are left open. You know, since they were all jungle bans, all the good AD carries are still open, and one AD carry I really love to talk about is Sivir, because she is such a threat in really so many regions. And I've actually was just reading an article by Karen Moser talking about how Sivir is currently the best champion in the game. Now, that's debatable, but she's definitely a very strong team fight champion that can also, you know, do picks and provide team-wide utility and do a ton of damage. So she's incredibly strong AD carry still left open, and I'd really like to see these guys prioritize.
Yeah, the thing about Sivir is she's the only AD carry besides Kalista, you could argue with Kalista's ultimate, that actually brings utility into a team.
Well, Ashe too. Technically.
Yeah, Ashe does bring to the utility with her ultimate as well, but the thing that Sivir brings that no other AD carry really brings, unless you do count that Ashe ultimate or the Kalista ultimate, is such strong engage but also peel, and that she can almost self-peel for herself because of the movement speed buff, and it then not only allows her to get away from threats, but it allows other members of the team to get on to the big targets of the enemy team and to escape for themselves.
Yeah, and actually we've recently seen Sivir get a little bit of a nerf, and I think that is in effect with this patch, but she still is very, very common. So as we are trying to get back into the lobby, we have a couple of other choices. What other strong champions do you think are still available?
I think we'll definitely see Callista this game, or
Mm-hmm.
because Callista is just one of those AD carries that is phenomenal in the current meta, especially with a lot of the other AD carries getting nerfed in the last few patches. Besides Caitlyn actually just received a small buff, but I really feel like Callista is one of the top tier AD carry picks along with Sivir. And I would actually like to see a Caitlyn talking about as far as like AD carries go. I'm not sure if she was really buffed enough though to make her as strong as champions like Callista or Sivir.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a buff, but she still has some problems. You know, that mid-game power trough, as well as a couple of other things. However, she is a good turret pusher, but the thing is, you know who else is arguably better turret pusher? Jinx.
Well,
So
and Tristana as well. I feel like Tristana's
that's
kind of
true.
a sleeper as far as AD carries go. We have seen her a few times, but I really feel like she deserves a little bit more playing time than she gets.
Yeah, and honestly, Tristana, if you get to the late game, there is no other AD carry in the game that can compare to 6-item Trist. That's
Yeah,
debatable, but that's my opinion.
she's definitely really strong. Not quite as strong late game 6 item as she was before they nerfed the range increase that she used to get. Because the thing about levels 18 Tristana before they reworked her is her range would just get ridiculously long, longer than any other AD carry in the game, and that's what made her so strong. Now her range doesn't increase, but yeah, she's still a very strong late game AD carry, and they've actually thrown a ton of buffs on her. And I feel like she's really, really strong. One of the best AD carries, but people haven't quite discovered her yet as a pick.
Yeah, I think the only time I've seen her in really professional level play was once in EU and once in LPL, although don't take my word for that. But like you said, she's seen a couple of games here or there, but no one's really sort of unlocked the potential and understands how strong she is. Actually, I think Piglet might have taken her as well in when Team Liquid ran this turret taking competition, and she shreds those turrets so well. The thing is, though, she requires really, really high level mental play. You know, you got to get those rotations well. Otherwise, if you rotate improperly and, you know, she's not strong, she's not at the late game point where she can do a lot in team fights, she is sort of a liability. She doesn't have as much damage as, say, the Callista or the Jinx.
Very true. All right, so let's talk about the jungle, because I think this is going to be really interesting.
What jungle?
Because we have 6 junglers banned for this champion select. So we have no Echo, no Lee. Wait, is Lee Sin still available?
Lee Sin is banned.
No, Lee Sin is banned. Sejuani is banned. Gragas is banned.
Jarvan's available.
Rek'Sai is banned as well. Jarvan is available.
I think that might be something that they look for. Maybe Volibear as well. A lot of players I know like him with the Cinderhulk. But it looks like we're going to be getting back into the lobby. So we will see what these teams decide to pick up. Again, this is Forest Park High School versus Stuyvesant High School, and we are in picks and bans.
All right, so the first part here is just going to be a repeat.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the Echo, Evelynn, Gragas, Lee Sin, all of those champions bound out here at the start. And then we'll see the Rise first picked. And then I believe they are going with the Lux and the Maokai.
Yes, but I think they might have the option, because I think that was a client glitch and they actually didn't want to lock in. We'll see what they decide to pick. Probably going to be the Lux, though, because the players were talking in the pregame lobby about how they looking for the pickup, but they do have the option to pick whatever they want. Florida champion we've seen quite a bit. You know, Aframu has had great success on him in the LCS, so perhaps that's what Forest Park tried to go for. And actually, another AD carry we haven't talked about at all. Urgot is still pretty dang strong, and he can provide his own amount of utility with that hyperkinetic position reverser, so they might just decide to go with that instead.
Yeah, it's definitely a champion that has a lot of impact in the game. The thing about Urgot, he's not going to scale as well into the late game, so that's always the problem when you pick him. They do hover Sivir here, though, and Aurelia is locked in, so that is 100% going to be what is the top lane matchup. So yeah, it is the Sivir locked in. Maybe we had a little bit of influence there.
Yeah, I hope the players weren't watching us. But that's Sivir and Aurelia. That's a very strong team composition, because they're just going to be able to run at you and get on you.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, Sivir's ultimate helps Aurelia so much. Aurelia already one of those
Yep.
champions that has a very easy time jumping onto the enemy's carries. But if you throw that Sivir ultimate on top of Aurelia, it's just so hard to peel away from the Aurelia in the late game. However, on the other side, I really love the Vladimir pickup. Thresh also, just to support that, provides a ton of utility. But I feel like Ryze and Vladimir are two of the strongest top lane picks right now. Most likely it's going to be the Vlad middle because we already have the Ryze for top. But that's going to be so much damage in the late game. Both of those champions so hard to take out and have so much magic damage. So we'll probably see a strong AD jungler, I think, on the side of Stuyvesant because they already have the two AP threats.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this composition locking in the Ryze and the Vlad already is that they not only have so much damage, but they also have that damage amplification. Ryze is going to be reducing the MR of the team. Oh, we actually see a Mumu pickup. That's another jungler that was left open. And Vlad, of course, with that Hemo Plague is going to provide a ton of damage in a team fight. So that is a very aggressive pickup, but they do have to counter this with some AD. What do you think they're going to go for here?
I'm not sure. Like you said, Jarvan is open. There's a few other junglers that are open as well. We could possibly see a Kha'Zix coming through, a Rengar, Nocturne. A lot of these AD junglers that you just don't see because they're outshined now by the tankier jungle picks in this jungle meta. There's also the possibility, yeah, Zac. The only thing I don't like about Zac is he's going to be another AP champion, meaning Ashe will be the only AD on Stuyvesant's entire team, which could be a problem here, unless Ashe gets ahead.
The funny thing is, looking at the team of Forest Park, they have quite a bit of magic damage as well, so it might just be a magic damage brawl because it actually will be the locked-in Zac and Ashe as well. That's just going to be one AD carry threat. However, Ashe will be able to provide a ton of damage and also provide a ton of peel. Was recently nerfed a tiny bit, however, so that is going to impact her early game, and I'm curious to see how Stuyvesant High School plays this out.
Yeah, Ashe is going to need to position really, really well, especially in the laning phase. If she gets hit by a Morgana binding and she doesn't have flash up, she's almost dead every single time. She doesn't have any gap close. She has no escape. All she has is auto attack slow. And with a Fizz, an Aurelia, and a Mumu, and a Sivir, Morgana, like so much lockdown. Every single champion brings the lockdown to the team except for Sivir, but she just allows her assassin like dive comp to absolutely pile onto Ashe. I think what we might see is Forest Park building a ton of magic resistance and then just instantly trying to kill Ashe at the beginning of the fights.
Yeah, and you said it before, Beta Life on that Ashe has no movement, no mobility, like no mobility spells. He's not going to be able to dash away or jump away or anything. He is going to be as mobile as his feet will carry him, and that's going to be a huge problem because there is so much dive in this Forest Park composition. You have the engage from basically all 5 champions, and then you have Aurelia and the Fizz that are both going to dive Beta Life. So I'd really like to see some very heavy peels coming out of Stuyvesant High School. Otherwise, this is going to be a huge problem.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you look at the Ryze, Vladimir, Zac, like those 3 champions aren't really designed around peeling for your AD carry. The job of those 3 champions is to try and dive in and kill the enemy backline. Try to throw that Vlada onto a Forest Park High's backline. Try and do your Ryze combo in a way that you're able to get a lot of AoE. The only one who's going to be able to try and peel for Bay Life is going to be the Red James, and Thresh. He has a lot of utility, but he's not going to have enough to be able to pill the Fizz and the Aurelia. And I feel like this is going to be a really, really hard game if your name is Bat Life or Beta Life.
Yeah, it's definitely not an impossible game, but incredibly hard. He's going to have to wait until Wonder Boy and Swimbirds use those cooldowns on other targets. And to be fair, Stuyvesant High School's composition does have a lot of high priority targets. Ryze, Vlad, and Ashe all could be considered carries, so they're going to have their work cut out for them as well.
All right, well, we will see how this game plays out in just a few minutes, but don't go anywhere, because as soon as this delay is up, we're going to be getting into game 1 of the best of 8, well, not the best of 8, the best of 3 round of 8 series between Stuyvesant High School and Forest Park high school. Really, really exciting, guys. We're getting down to the best high school League of Legends teams in the entire nation. So definitely some exciting games for us in store this evening. Alrighty, High School League of Legends fans, welcome to the High School Star League's Round of 8, Game 1, between Stuyvesant High and Forest Park High School. We are down to the wire now, guys. The last 8 teams left in the National High School Star League, playing for $35,000 in scholarship money. I'm really excited for this one, Stuyvesant.
Yeah, this is absolutely go big or go home, and by night we see both teams out of the base immediately. Level 1 strategies. Will we see a fight here?
I don't know. I think that both teams are going to try and fill this one out, although it appears as though Stuyvesant is going to be going with a really aggressive early, although they are spotted out by a ward here.
Yeah, we see a couple of awards laid down. You know, both that binding and the hook from either support champion could start a fight, but I think because this is such an important game, both teams are going to try and play it a little bit safe here.
Yeah, sadly for Stuyvesant, they weren't able to get that early vision that they were looking for, although they do have blue warded, so they are going to know where Amumu is starting. I'm not sure how far they were trying to get there, or if they were planning on possibly even trying to steal that blue buff, but it appears as though both teams kind of relaxing a little bit, going with some normal starts. Not very many wards are out besides the one around this blue buff, just seeing where Amumu is starting. Although it's pretty easy to guess that Amumu is going to start at blue because he really needs that blue buff for his early jungle clear.
Yeah. By night, something interesting I want to touch on is this mid lane. It's a Fizz versus a Ryze matchup. We didn't even talk about who was going to go top and who was going to go mid, but it seems like it will actually be Xizoi up against Swimbirds in the mid lane. And how do you feel that goes? I feel like that's actually not a great matchup for the Fizz player.
The thing is, Ryze is going to have a lot more harass control early on, so it's going to be really hard for the Fizz to try and keep up and farm, just because anytime the Ryze wants to, he can go into auto attack, Q. But what Fizz brings to the lane that Ryze doesn't really have is that level 6 massive burst potential. And I feel like if Fizz cannot fall behind early on, if he's able to stay close and farm, he's going to have a lot of kill threat when they finally get to that level 6.
Taken pretty low. We see some early trades. The Red James hasn't gotten his level 2 yet. That all-important level 2 bot power spike. Far, no action. Both the junglers have just finished their buffs. Actually, interesting to note that Zach went for Raptors before doing his red buff, so we might see gank this bot lane. But 3 minutes in, no kills. Been a little bit quiet, but I'm sure we'll see some action pretty soon.
Yeah, and talking about action, it looks like Zach possibly wants to make a move down bottom.
He will. There's a slow onto Saber. Flay's going to land. The hook's going to be onto Morgana, and the binding isn't going to be enough. The exhaust coming down. Morgana's got exhausted as well. Badwall, he's going to go down here. He goes down. First blood for Beta Life. And now I'm ganking the mid lane. Scizor gets no, but he's going to get the kill onto Swimbirds. Ryze now against the movement might be able to pick up a kill. This Ryze is unstoppable. 2 kills very quickly over to Stuyvesant High School, and they take a huge lead.
Yeah, we talked about how Stuyvesant needs to be careful because they have so much AP and so little attack damage.
He has flashed up, but he's going to get hooked, and he is going to go down. Beta Life 2-0-0 in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have mostly AP threats if everyone on your team is fed before 4 minutes even hits. This is looking really bad for Forest Park already in game number 1 of this round of 8.
Yeah, not only was it bad that all these kills are going over, but Porcupine Pillow tried to gank in the mid lane and actually simply was unsuccessful. He almost died to Scizoi as well. So this ridiculous early start from Stuyvesant High School. Oh, the flash going in. Wonder Boy goes down. That is now 4-0 in as many minutes for Stuyvesant High School.
This is just a matter of Stuyvesant outplaying their opponents in every single lane. You saw mid lane get the one-on-one kill. Even while being ganked, you saw top lane grab that one-on-one kill, and you saw the gank in the bottom lane. Just everything going wrong for Forest Park here. And it really makes you wonder, what do you do? What do you do not to fall further behind? Because if you play too passive, Stuyvesant is just going to continue to snowball in their favor, but if you play too aggressive, you're going to continue to die.
This is definitely a bad position for Forest Park High School. Wave Forest Park in bot lane. Maybe they can happen off that. The Red James, though, he's playing so aggressively because Beta Life is sitting on that Doran's Blade and the pickaxe as well. What a ridiculous early game. The hook is going to land onto Badwall. He's going to take a lot of damage. He doesn't have flash, remember. He could go down here. That's going to be another kill. Beta Life on a killing spree, and Bobcavs needs to get out. What a crazy start. Every minute of the game, Stuyvesant High School have picked up a kill, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down at all.
Yeah, and when you have a 3-0 Ashe at 5 minutes, it really takes away your ability to stack magic resist and try and just forego armor here. They're definitely going to be able to, they're going to need to build the armor resistance because Ashe is getting so fed early on.
Cavs is in big trouble. He's going to pop spell shield, but it's too early. The Flay is going to land, and there's action in the mid lane as well as Fizz is going to go onto Scizor, but it's not going to be a huge deal. Go back to the bot lane, Cameron. Nope, go back to the mid lane. Swimbirds now take a lot of damage. Ignite goes down, but it's not going to be enough. Ryze picks up another kill, and I don't know if this is plat versus silver, but it's definitely looking that way. Stuyvesant High School are saying, we're not top 8 material, we're number 1 material.
Yeah, this is not really a matter of plat versus silver, it's more challenger versus diamond. And it's amazing that the skill gap can still be there. Although, we can't just say, oh no, Forest Park, they're weaker players, they have no chance. because this is just one game. And things can go badly and snowball very
bad
quickly.
while he's gonna go down. Beta Life is on a rampage. This definitely doesn't mean that the series is over, but game one might as well be. Will kill for tacos now. Porcupine Pillow's trying to kill, but he's not level 6. The Mumu is so sad that his friend just keeps walking away from them. That's now 8 kills over to Stuyvesant. Finite. I had not seen any games from either of these teams, and I don't know if you have, but never would I have expected this kind of a start.
Yeah, I definitely was expecting something a lot closer. My question is, how did Stuyvesant get 2 Challenger players going to their high school? Because that's a ridiculous thing right there.
Yeah, it's looking like UVC trying to recruit those top-level talents, but at the high school level, that is pretty crazy. Unless that high school has a really good club, you know, that builds those players up, in which case that might be even more impressive. At this point, though, speaking of impressive, that's something that Forest Park are trying to do here. They're trying to look impressive and make this comeback happen. Because, yes, they are behind a ton of gold. Their Nexus is still alive, however. And as long as your Nexus is alive, you can make plays to come back.
That's a true statement for the most part. The thing we have to think about is that Stuyvesant's team composition isn't going to be falling off anytime soon. Because they have the Rise, they have the Vladimir, both of whom scale phenomenally into the mid and the late game, and are just going to continually get stronger and stronger. And then you look at the fact that not only are they ahead on kills, like not only is the scoreboard 8-0 as far as kills go, but the farm discrepancy is massive as well. In the top lane, 55 to 33, mid lane, 54 to 37. It's just looking bad on all fronts.
Yeah, immediately taking a look at that gold, every carry is up at least 1,000 gold against their lane opponent. In under 10 minutes, that is absurd. What a crazy start so far from Stuyvesant High School. They haven't taken any objectives yet. All turrets still alive as well as the dragon, but that might be their next play. Porcupine Pillow trying to go for a gank of the bot lane. He is level 6, lands the hook onto Beta Life. Flash away though, also gonna miss. The counter gank coming in, teleport as well. This is gonna be so good for Stuyvesant High School. How many kills will it be? Porcupine Pillow goes down, a stun onto Vodcap. He's gonna try and get out of line. The pool is down a ton of damage. That's a double kill over to the Vlad. They're looking for the triple flash hook. That's going to seal the deal. Oh my god, passive is popped. Let's see if they can keep him alive. The turret is going to aggro the blobs. No, it's aggroing the champions instead. 12 kills over so far. And oh my god, finally a retribution kill for Forest Park High School. But that is still totally worth for Stuyvesant.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick their first tower off. Pick their first tower up off of that team fight there. And if you're Forest Park High School, your thoughts have to already be looking to game number 2. What went wrong? What do we have to improve on here? And it's definitely not one thing like that. There wasn't just one mistake that their team made where it's like, all right, guys, if we don't make this mistake next game, we can win. It's more of a matter of we can't lose every single lane. We can't give away 5 kills before 6 minutes even hits. Oh my gosh, it's going to definitely be an uphill series that Forest Park is going to need to play if they hope to come back in this best of 3.
Val after it. Allen. Awesome. From 4 minutes to 10 minutes, died 12 times. And like you said, everyone now swims towards it. Trying to get caught out. Binding is going to land onto Beta Life. Hook is gonna go wide. Looks like the group up from the mid is the call from Stuyvesant High School, and you know they're so far ahead they might as well. Oh, the turret is down. Wonder Boy's in trouble. He has his flash available. Might need to use it here. No, he's gonna go in for Will Kill for Taco's gonna get stunned. It takes a lot of damage, but he's gonna be able to pick up the kill. That is now 6-0-0 on this Vlad. And the fight in the mid lane, Beta Life gets the stun on the Swimbirds. The fish goes down. Beta Life is still on the shield. Is it enough? No, he gets shut down. And Porcupine Pillow is looking for more. Red James gets stunned, but now the hook back on the Porcupine Pillow. He goes down instead. Tizoy is on a rampage, and even if you shut down a member of Stuyvesant High School, one of their other members will instantly be getting a rampage, be unstoppable, or be even worse. This game has been an absolute disaster for Park.
If you like kills, this is definitely an exciting game. We have 17 kills in the first 12 minutes of this game, and you have to wonder here, is this just a matter of Forspark being outmatched in every lane? Or is it because of the champion matchups? Is it because of the lane matchups? I mean, if you look at the way that champion select win, you have a stronger top laner on the side of Stuyvesant. You have a stronger pre-6 mid laner on the side of Stuyvesant. And you have a bottom lane that goes even. So is Forspark going to be able to come back and make a stronger showing if they possibly, like, ban out the Vladimir and because they have first pick, try to pick the Rise?
But Vlad is up 2 levels. He's going to flash for Bad Wall. Bad Wall's going to flash over the wall. That might be a good wall for Bad Wall, but Wonder Boy now is still going to try and fight. Will kill for Taka's just 3 levels over. That's a lot of damage, but he's just going to be able to heal himself. And now it's going to be the Retribution over from Swimbirds, I think. Yes, that will be the shutdown, but still, that was 3 members in the top lane to take down Will kill for Tacos, and he still managed to pick up a kill of his own. Pine Pillow, you better get out of there now. A 2v2 situation. The fish is going to go wide. The hook is going to go wide as well. Zizzoi's take a lot of damage, but he is a Rise, and Rise gives 0 care about basically anyone. 4-0-1, stacking up that tier, but at this point, just the experience advantage is enough for Stuyvesant High School to bully Forspark around. The hook hits the minion. It's a bit of a lull. Yes, like you said, action has been everywhere. I haven't gotten a moment's of rest.
It really makes me wonder what Stuyvesant's games looked like in the actual season.
Seriously.
When you're being matched up against other high schools that might have silver players, that might have gold players, that might have bronze players, just high schools that have these teams and they're just playing for fun with friends. And then you're like, oh crap, this week we're playing up against a team with diamonds and challenger players.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder whether or not I should get these guys autographs before they go LCS. Bad Wall, that is not the fight he wanted. Goodbye. You think you can make a play, try to make a play, and you know you land that ultimate onto 2 enemy members, but you are just so far behind. Stuyvesant High School, holy crap.
And I want to point out here and just say it straight up that Forspark is not a bad team.
No.
They're one of the top 8 high school teams in the entire nation.
In the country.
I believe, yeah. And I
Oh
think
my
there might be
God.
some Canadian teams competing as well. I'm not
All
actually
North
sure.
America, yeah.
So Forspark High School is a good team. They have very strong, high-level
Wonder Boys
master tier diamond
in.
players, and they're just looking like like you said.
They don't look like a
bronze
diamond
against
team.
platinum.
Yeah. Not look like a team of equal rank. Goodbye, Battle. I'm not even going to cast this. He's going to die. Goodbye. This Zoya is dominating. 6-0-1 on Rise. 5-1-6 on Ash. 7-1-0 on Vlad. And they have the CS scores to match. Double CS in both solo lanes. Oh my god, he's going to go in. He's going to take a little bit of damage, but they will pick up the turret. Actually, Red James lands the hook and he throws the lantern out. He's out of mana, so he needs to be careful, but that is the on the hunt now down. Let's see if they can make a fight with that, but Turret is still alive. Red James flash away. Turret goes down now. Oh my god, is going to go in. He has his passive pop. Porcupine Pillow gets a pretty good ultimate on Scizor, but Scizor is so damn tanky. The passive is going to come back to life. Swimbirds goes down, and that is a 3-0 under Forspark High School's turret. They could not find any breaks. We are definitely going to game 2. Not on this push, but might as well be.
Where's the fantasy HSL league? That's what I want to know.
You know, why not? They're gonna end this game so quickly. They might not even be the best fantasy players. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If you end the game in 16 minutes, well, technically you do get 3 points, I think, for ending the game in under like 28 minutes or something. But
I mean, but even if you look at their scores, like this game has more kills than most LCS games.
that is true.
In 40 minutes, oftentimes. I mean, you have an 8-0-3 Rise. You have an 8-1-1 Vladimir. This game is just, man, it has to be really hard if you're Forspark High, because it's hard just losing game number 1 of a best of 3. But sometimes you just have to pull yourself back up. You're like, all right, this is a best of 3. We can come back in game number 2. But when you lose this badly, it really has to play on your mental game and the mentality that you're going to have coming into game number 2. That hurts so much.
Yeah, Forest Park High School. If any fans of Forest Park or they themselves watch the spot, like, don't get me wrong, y'all are great. Most of your players are probably higher ranked than I am, and you're also from Nova, so you guys are the homies. But I don't think I've ever seen a game this one-sided in my whole entire life. It's 15,000 gold in 17 minutes. Have you ever seen that by night? I seriously don't think I've ever seen a game this one-sided.
Especially in this high level of play. Because, yeah, sometimes you might see it in, like, a normal game if you're playing with your friends or something. But, I mean, even in solo kill, normally it's closer than this because at least the teams have, like, similar skill levels. But this game, yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculously how much gold advantage Stuyvesant already has. And if you are another high school that's going to have to play Stuyvesant.
Oh, Porcupine Pillow, get out of there. A 2v1 in the top lane. Will kill for tacos. Flashes for the kill onto Wonder Boy. Twinbirds got out, but if you just take a look at the gold, they are up over double in some of these lanes. Been absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to be the team that has to play against Stuyvesant in the quarterfinals.
I don't want to be the team that ever has to, play Stuyvesant in general. They are looking, I mean, with a performance like this, so long as they keep it up in the next game, they're looking like a contender to win this entire tournament. I've never seen any level of play at this high of a level in HSL. 18-minute inhibitor.
It's really going to be interesting to see how the next game plays out. And it's going to really show whether or not this is kind of a fluke, like a one-sided.
Yeah. Oh, bad wall. Doesn't have the shield. It's going to flash away. The ult goes down from Saber. Oh my god, it's so tanky. Wonder Boy gets hooked. Porcupine Pill goes over, but he is the great ultimate. He's going to have to flash away, though, because he has no damage. And the follow-up isn't there, which means Omar God is going to pick up the kill onto Porcupine Pillow. The flash slow is going to be pretty tanky. He's going to be taking the turrets. Is enough? I don't think so, and neither does Omar God. They are, however, going to be able to pick up this middle turret. Indians are dying pretty quickly, but this should still go down. That might also be the inhibitor. It's going to be 2 inhibitors down for Stuyvesant High School.
I love the name Omar God. I can just see how it can be used as a play-by-play caster in this team, but it's like, Omar God going into the backline. It just works so perfectly.
I kind of want to see like a 1v5 now. He'll kill for tacos or Sizzo just decides, I'm so far ahead, I'm just going to try and BM the enemy team and sort of break their spirit even more for the next game. But
I don't think he would win it, but he would definitely take down 1 or 2 members with him.
That is the thing, though. You said this could potentially be a fluke. Maybe Stuyvesant is the better team, but maybe they just had a really good start. And Forest Park, if they could pick a team that scales into the late game and play safer in the early game, they could come back in these next few games. However, this has been such a rough game that I'm sure they've had some communication problems at this point, because even if you're best friends and you've been in a team forever, if you have 3 inhibitors down by 20 minutes, you're going to be asking some questions.
Yeah,
and it looks like
does come out here. Oh man, what a hard loss for Forest Park High School here in game number 1 of this round of 8 series between Stuyvesant and Forest Park. Definitely going to need to be some big changes coming out if Forest Park wants to have a better showing in game number 2. Yeah,
that was quite the game. But guys, we will be coming back for game 2 and potentially a game 3 in this series. This is HSL. We're going to be playing music for a few minutes as these guys load into the lobby, but we will be RB.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome to the Champion Select for game number 2 in this best of 3 round of 8 series between Stuyvesant High School and Forest Park High School. Game number 1 went heavily in favor of Stuyvesant, so Forest Park going to be looking to try and make a comeback here. My name is Jacob Browatsky, and I am joined once again for game number 2 by Shay Seamus Anderson.
Yeah, this game number 2 is going to be really, really important. You know, for Forest Park, for anyone really, there is a moment in your life when you are met with adversity and you have the option to either overcome it or succumb to it. And this, right now, is some pretty hard adversity for Forest Park High School. And if they do overcome it, they will be one of the strongest teams in the HSL League. However, if they fall, we will never remember them. Just kidding. They're still going to be a top 8 team in North America, and they will be heavily recognized for going up against the Stuyvesant High School. But really, Stuyvesant, they're looking to end this game, or the series, I should say, in 2-0 and move on to the next one because they were looking fierce.
And I mean, you have to keep in mind that there was over 1,000 teams at the beginning of this high school Star League season. And to finish in top 8 means that you have so much talent, you have so much skill, especially for a high school player. But when you get down to this level of play, when you get down to the final 8 teams, that's when the real test comes. Especially for teams like Forest Park that might have just squeezed their way in barely with some really close, hard-fought games, to then have to come against a team with 2 challenger players and 3 diamonds when you have only diamonds and plats. Like, it can be really, really difficult, but it's not impossible. And I really feel like if Forest Park is able to pick a team comp that scales well into the late game, like you said, and is able to play safe and just try to outscale, that's going to be their chance to winning game number 2.
Yeah, and I like the fact that I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now, and I do see support. We do see Forest Park support, so you know, if their fans still believe, I feel like the players should keep their heads up and go for this as well. Beta Life is hovering over the Jinx, and he played incredibly well on the Ashe, so he is his really pick of the litter as far as AD carries go, and I'm sure he will do fine. However, there are a lot of strong AD carries open for Forest Park High School.
Yeah, and if I was Forest Park, you want to pick a champion that's going to scale. Now, Jinx, one of those champions that definitely scales well, but I think maybe a Tristana might be a good pick here. Even a Sivir, while she's not going to have as much damage in the late game, she brings a lot of utility. Oh, and actually, Stuyvesant locks in the Vayne instead of the Jinx, so I think maybe even picking up Jinx as Forest Park might be the best decision here.
Yeah, this is an interesting pickup. I really think Beta Life is sort of just showing the fact that, you know, he's confident in his play. Vayne is definitely an AD carry that, or most AD carry mains love to play and show off with. But we see a Maokai and Sejuani picked up by Forest Park. That is a lot of CC.
Yeah, it is. They have a very tanky front line now. But what this means is that they're not going to have very many damage threats, most likely just 2. So they're going to need to keep them alive in order to do the damage that's needed to win these team fights. But a Maokai Sejuani definitely going to be very, very tanky as far as the front line goes. Stuyvesant is hovering the Rumble Nautilus, although a Blitzcrank would be kind of fun to watch as well. I mean, I want to point out the Thresh hooks in the last game from Stuyvesant were phenomenal. I think almost every single one hit. Only maybe 2 missed in the entire game. So
yeah, the Red James was definitely looking like Kazing, and he can't go with Thresh, so he goes for Nautilus instead. That's another champion with the hooks. And like, hey, you wanted the Jinx, so here it's gonna be a Forest Park. Gonna have a lot of damage and a lot of crowd control in this composition.
Alright, so Jinx locked in and Varus hovered. I don't know if the Varus lock-in is smarter. Varus does bring a lot of damage, but the thing is, both of your threats will be AD then, meaning it's going to be really easy for like Nautilus, Lee-Sin to just stack that armor, and it's going to be so hard for them to die in those team fights. I would like to see something maybe like a Victor or just something that can farm up really safe. Maybe even a Xerath. Farm up safe in the early game, just farm under tower,
Ari.
and be able to do
Interesting.
a lot in the late game. Yeah, I don't. The Ari's gonna be hard because the thing about Ari is you need to be able to make plays.
Yep. She's really fallen out of the meta with all the tanks. Assassins aren't as useful as they once were, and Ari's actually seen a couple of changes as a result. However, you do have to give credit to the fact that Ari will have a safer lane phase than a Varus.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also going to be more dangerous for Ari in the later stages of the team, because Xerath or Varus or even Victor in the late game stay really far back and trying to just throw in skills, whereas Ari kind of has to jump in, try to land that charm in order to make an impact in the team fight. So Ari can definitely do a lot here, but it's just going to be a little bit more difficult, I feel like, for Swimbirds, especially if Swimbirds gives up kills early like he did last game. If he has another 2-0 start, I feel like he's going to be almost useless.
Yeah, what I'd really like to see from Forest Park this game is their early game be a little bit safer. Not only did they die to ganks, but their lanes also died in the 1v1 matchup. So, you know, just play a little bit safer, wait for Porcupine Pillow to come around to maybe snowball your lead ahead, but just don't let the snowball of last game happen. Don't give Stuyvesant the satisfaction of such an early lead.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to be what they're looking out for. I feel like overall they do have relatively safe lanes here. Will Kill for Tacos has a lot of damage on that Rumble, so D Wonderboy should be careful, but normally Maokai is pretty safe as long as he doesn't get ganked. But the thing is, Stuyvesant has the Lee Sin jungle, who's going to be able to make so much of an impact early on, and Forest Park really needs to ward up, like you said, because if they don't respect Omar God on the Lee Sin, they're going to be regretting it in this game number 2.
And we saw the amount of ganks Omar God had last game. He ganked a lot on Zac. You know, not a champion that traditionally will see gank that early all the time. And actually, Omar God's Lee Sin was banned out in the last game, but he has it now. So let's see the kinds of plays that they can make. For now, though, it is in the delay. 2 minutes, 45 seconds to go. We're going to take a bit of a break, guys. But when we come back, it's going to be Game 2 of the HSL Round of 8. Forest Park High School taking on Stuyvesant High School.
everyone, welcome to game number 2 of High School Star League's round of 8 best of 3 match between Forest Park High and Stuyvesant. My name is Knight. I am joined by Seamoose, and this is looking to be an exciting match. 1,000 teams.
Knight, you know what's exciting? Knight, Gangplank mid is exciting. There is a Gangplank mid on Stuyvesant's team. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's meta, man. That's
nope, that is not meta. That is ridiculously exciting. Is this gonna be AP Gangplank? No, it's gonna be AD. He's not running any AP.
Yeah, it's most likely gonna be a crit plank. Korean crit plank. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be fun. I feel like if Zizoi, is that how you say it, or Zixoi?
I don't know.
If he's able to get ahead early, though, he's going to do a crap ton of damage with his Qs.
This is either going to go really, 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 really well, or just completely. However, I have heard from some of his friends that this is something he likes to do when he has dominating performances later in the series. He will play this pocket roll Gangplank. But we're going to see if it works out for Stuyvesant High School this time. Out of 1,000 teams, these are the top two of the top 8 teams in North American continent, and only one of them will go on to the round of 4. Stuyvesant High School just have one more game to win. If they win it here, they are in the semifinals.
Yeah, and we want to remember to thank our sponsors as well: Twitch, Newegg, Rocket, MSI, Tespa, Jinx, and Loot Crate. Because of them, these teams are not only playing for school pride, that you are the best in the nation, but they're also playing for $35,000 of scholarship money.
Yeah, that is quite a generous prize for these teams. So everyone is going to give it their all. And really interesting adaptation from Forest Park High School. They decided to go with the lane swap against this Rumble. By Night, what is that all about?
I actually think this was a really smart decision by Forest Park High. Rumble is one of the 2 challenger players on Stuyvesant, which means that Wonderboy is going to have a hard time farming against Rumble anyway. So if you're already going to have a hard time farming, you might as well just go in the 1v2. Yes, you're not going to get very much farm, but you weren't going to get much farm anyway, and then it allows your Jinx to farm up. The Jinx is going to scale really, really well. Also, Forest Park High's bottom lane did not do very well in the last game either. So it allows 2 of the lanes to kind of have a more relaxed early game, and it kind of allows you to stay more even without having to match up skill for skill.
Yeah, the fact that they have this lane swap basically means that to a certain extent the lane phase is going to be negated, and the lane phase is where we saw Forest Park's initial problems start. So I actually agree with you. It is a very smart decision. There are a couple of problems though. If your top laner gets in a position where he gets dove under turret, that could be very, very bad. But for now, both Wonderboy and Will Kill for Tacos are alright. Junglers are looking around, but I don't think we'll see anything happen just yet. Oh, the stun is going to land onto Wonderboy.
Another thing to think about with the
damage
lane
onto
swap.
Zizoi. He's taking a lot of damage. He does have flash. He has Summoner's Charm, is going to get dodged away, but the damage coming out from Ari, the heal, is going to be enough. Flash auto attack is going to pick up first blood, and Gangplank is down.
Alright, boys, this game already going incredibly better for Forest Park High than the first one. Able to pick up first blood here. That's so big, especially on an Ari who wants to try and be a threat in this mid game. The BM might be backfiring.
Oh, that's good first. And they also see Omar God in the mid lane, which means that his pressure on this Lee Sin isn't going to be as strong as it could be. Early game already infinitely better for Forest Park High School, because by this time, Stuyvesant already had 3 or 4 kills.
Yeah, by this time it was already 6-0 in favor of Stuyvesant, and now it's 1-0 the other way. Forest Park High trying to prove why they are in the top 8 high schools in the nation.
Well, the hook is going to be thread through. Will kill for Tacos. Gets hit by the zap as well. There is not going to be any flame chompers, but that is a lot of damage on this Rumble in the top lane. He needs to be careful. One more death sentence could mean his end. But this will be a dragon pickup. They have the pink ward. They haven't seen Porcupine Pillow, but they're assuming that he's not going to be on this red side. So that will actually be first dragon over to Stuyvesant High School.
Yeah, and this is just something that you kind of are willing to give up by making the initial lane swap. Because you do have 2 members of your team top, it means that you're going to have to give away that first dragon. It's just something that kind of comes with the lane swap, and it does create a small advantage for Stuyvesant as far as dragons go, but I think they're...
Oh, the hook. Swinburne is here. Will kill for Taco's going to be in trouble. Flash away, but there's still a lot of damage coming out of this Ari. The kill picked up for Jinx. Vodcavs gets a kill. This is now 2 kills over to Forest Park High School. They want us all to know that that first game was just a fluke, and they are here to play.
And they definitely are showing that they have more in the tank than what they gave us in game number 1. Really good roam coming up from Swimbirds, and this is a completely different mid laner than we saw in the last game. Swimbirds on Fizz died twice in the laning phase, died solo before 5 minutes. This game, the complete opposite. Absolutely turning it on with a phenomenal solo kill in mid lane and then a roam top to give Jinx the 2nd kill of the game.
And the first turret picked up as well. That's over 1,000 gold lead now for Forest Park High School. Now, they do have this early lead, but I'd like to see them transition that across the map. You know, maybe put this bot lane now back in the 2v2 and pick up that turret and keep out-rotating Stuyvesant High School, because if they do so, they definitely could snowball this and push this to a game 3.
Yeah, I mean, look at the damage that Stuyvesant's bottom lane was able to get onto Forest Park High's bottom tower. Almost nothing. The tower is still sitting at over half HP, which is really, really good. It essentially means that Forest Park High traded a dragon for 2 kills and a tower, which is completely worth. Especially when you compare it to last game's performance where they had that laning phase go so poorly.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that we do see the pink wards coming out. They know they need to keep the snowball up. We see 1 ward over the banana brush in favor of Forest Park as well. This top lane matchup now, Rumble versus Maokai, they're even in CS. Hook onto the Red James. He might take a lot of damage here. He's going to get hit by the choppers as well. Vodcavs is pretty damn strong. The hook away, can they pick up the kill? It's just going to be Condemned, the Gangplank ultimate as well. This is now bad for Forest Park. The flash immediately from Bad Wall, and they flash in response from Beta Life, but there's action to the top lane as Wonderboy goes on to Will Kill for Tacos. Can he hit the ult? Yes, Porcupine hits the ult, but that's a lot of damage for the equalizer. Will Kill for Tacos doesn't want to silence himself. Can he get it? He silences himself. He's going to hit with a ton of auto attack damage, but he does go down, and Swimbird's now into spot lane. Is ganking Beta Life. Beta Life doesn't have flash, remember. However, he is going to be just fine, but that is now 3 kills over for Forest Park.
This looks like a completely different Forest Park team. Honestly, if there were names turned off, I would not have guessed that Forest Park and Stuyvesant had switched sides. Because this game is now 2,000 in favor of Forest Park before 10 minutes. Now 2 towers to 0. This is incredible. I would not have guessed game 2 would go like this after game number 1.
Yeah, isn't as dominant at this point. However, 3,000 gold or 2,500 gold after 9 minutes is an incredibly strong start. They have 2 turrets. Yes, they don't have the dragon, but they have all the advantages now in the early game. Sizoy, he only has that Ruby Crystal and that Avers Blade. Really isn't going to be providing much in these team fights, whereas Swimbirds already has that Morellonomicon and he is working on more items. Another smart rotation, 3 members in the mid lane. This turret might be going down.
And we have to keep in mind, last game, even though Stuyvesant had a bigger gold lead by this point, they didn't have any towers yet. And now Forest Park High has all 3 outer turrets. This is feeling like CLG rotations.
Yeah. CLG rotations with good players as well, and good team fight. Forest Park, they are doing so well, some might say that Ryan needs to gank the top lane. You're welcome, Stuyvesant High School. Anyway, action in the mid lane. Scissor's gonna flash away, but there's another charge from the ultimate swim burst. Can he pick up this kill? Morella Namicon is on Scissor, and the auto attack and flash and the W. Swimbird's now caught out, but there's only a Nautilus. Whoa, he doesn't know that though, so he's going under this turret. Can he get the execute? I think he's gonna get out of the gangplank. Yeah, probably could have just walked away, but that is still 4 kills over for Forest Park. However, Stuyvesant is on the board.
Yeah, so Stuyvesant finally able to pick up their first kill here, but I want to point out that while Crit Plank is going to be able to do a lot as far as the mid-game goes, he really falls off when you get to that 40-50 minute mark, no matter how far ahead he gets. And honestly, he's not even ahead. He's been solo killed twice now. Lee Sin as well. Another one of those champions that does not scale well into the late game unless he's able to insect kick. So I feel like if Forest Park is able to just continue playing this like they have been, keep their head in the game, play smart, and just don't make stupid decisions, they have a good chance.
Yeah, they really do. Interesting that you're talking about the Lee Sin pickup, because you know Omar God has done nothing so far. He's been farming the entire game, and he's still behind in farm compared to Porcupine Pillow. This is very good at the moment for Forest Park. And you know, I'm still a little bit cautious because we did see Stuyvesant High School play so well last game, so I still think they might be able to come back. But if Forest Park keep this up, we are definitely going to Game 3.
And we also have to keep in mind the 2 challenger players on Stuyvesant are the Lee Sin and the Rumble. And together they have a cumulative score of
fighting
0.
Oh my God, he's gonna get hit by the choppers. That's so much crowd control. He's gonna go down here. Vodcast has get the kill, and now they're gonna go on to Battlewall. Hook lands on Beta Life, double teleport coming in, but a little bit slow for Forest Park. Battlewall gets condemned away, and Swinburne is everywhere, but he is also dead because he gets stunned up in Beta Life now. He's trying to stay alive. He's trying to kite. He goes down. Porcupine Pillow taking very low. Sizzoi is doing damage, but he is a gangplank, so he's not doing as much damage as he should be. Vodcaps gets the double. He's looking for the triple. The Red James running away does not have flash up just yet. It's going to be up now. Does he need to use it? Vodcaps, yes, he does. Forces that flash, but that is still a 2 for 2 with Dragon advantage going over to Forest Park.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Omar God was planning on doing in that situation.
Oh, he died.
Kind of jumped in and then instantly died before he was able to do anything, which meant that Forest Park was able to fight a very nice 4v5, and it was still surprisingly close.
Yeah, it was quite a impressive play really from Stuyvesant, because not only did they have poor positioning and they lost Lee Sin early in that fight, but they also really aren't sitting on good item power spikes. Sizzoi hasn't completed anything. Bane doesn't have the Blade of the Rune King, and so this Jinx was just doing way more damage in that fight. However, like you said, still close. Oh, Badwall, he's gonna get caught out here. Has his flash available, gets rooted down, but just gonna walk away. Oh my God, he has not had the best game so far.
He really hasn't, and that's really surprising considering the fact that Forest Park banned away Omar God's Lee Sin in game number 1. And then decided to ban the Vladimir instead of Lee Sin in game number 2, which allowed Omar God to pick it up. But Omar God hasn't really shown why it was banned against him in game number 1. He hasn't really made that impact I was expecting him to bring to the laning phase.
That might have been just the fact that lane swap, they didn't expect it. Stuyvesant High School did not have a great response to the lane swap, and as a result, we did see Omar God just go ahead and farm. He's really starting to already fall off as far as relevance is concerned, because Porcupine Pillow is simply going to get stronger. A little bit of action in the mid lane. Badwall needs to be careful. There are 4 enemy members around. Flashes, but doesn't go over the wall. He's going to go down here. Land the hook onto Sizzoi and the box onto Omar God. That's a lot of damage onto Stuyvesant High School. But the thing is, without that Thresh, he just got caught out. They're not going to be able to pick up anything else. Good stuff to Stuyvesant.
Yeah, now it might look like Thresh getting caught out that one time isn't that big of a deal, but the thing is, those are the types of mistakes that are going to allow Stuyvesant to get back into this game. They're the type of mistakes that Forest Park High cannot afford to make. And the first one isn't going to do too much as far as turning the game goes, but if they make a few more mistakes like that, get caught out a few more times, it's really going to allow Stuyvesant to get back into this game.
Yeah, they definitely haven't lost the gold lead. Forest Park still have over 2,000 gold, but what they did lose was momentum. They've been making plays all around the map, but that's the first time that we've really seen them on the back foot. Not only did they lose the flash, but they also lost the teammate. They cannot let a catch like that happen again, lest Stuyvesant start making a comeback, because, you know, they're no slouches in the late game either. You have the damage from Rumble and the Vayne. Yes, Lee Sin's not going to be great. Oh, Charm onto Red James. He's going to take a decent amount of damage, but he's a very tanky Nautilus with his own little shield, so he should be just fine. No ward in that brush, but he's just going to go ahead and pink it. Battlewall might be looking for a hook here. However, this would be a 4v4 fight. Still cool for tacos. Working on those Krugs in the top lane. Oh, that crit goes wide. This is very, very tense right now. Porcupine Billy's gonna get gauged up by the Rumbles here. The Maokai's not, teleport's not available either, so this 545, but a great charm onto Beta Life. Porcupine Pillow is still in a not good position. He's gonna take the lantern to get out. And all of that without Omar God in the area. Holy crap, Stuyvesant have balls of steel. Force the flash out of Porcupine Pillow, but the thing is, they are fairly low here. This turret's gonna be taking quite a bit of damage. Farm lands onto Beta Life. And the wave clear too, or I should say the lack of wave clear. Omar God's gonna get caught up. The ult from Gangplank coming out. The fight might break out. Sizoi is going on the hunt, but he has no follow-up CC as a very well-placed chompers from Vodcap to keep the rest of his team alive. Swimpers now is taking quite a bit of damage, and Badwall is getting engaged up by Omar God. He's gonna miss the hook, and the Rumble ult comes out. First takes a little bit more damage. I think everyone might get out alive. Wow. That past 45 seconds. Very, very tense, but no one went down.
It does mean that Stuyvesant's going to be able to pick up a bottom tower off of that. And it's so surprising that they were able to just walk forward and make Forest Park run away.
He's going to get caught out by Lee Sin. The combo, the kick away. Omar God landing the E. Picks up the kill. That's a shutdown and red buff over to Lee Sin. More picks for Stuyvesant High School is exactly what they need. Porcupine Pillow now doesn't have flash, remember. He's going to be taking a lot of damage, but is too tanky for Stuyvesant High School to look for anything more. Dragon is up in a minute, so Vodcaps will be alive. Time for that fight, but it's just like you said, these fights are going to delay the game and give Stuyvesant opportunities to come back.
I really think the last game is still playing in Forest Park's mind because they have the gold lead and they're running away from 5v5s. They just don't want to fight because they're still scared. Even though they have the items to be able to win fights, they're just not willing to take the risk. Because of that, Stuyvesant is just able to push Forest Park around, get vision control that they shouldn't be able to get when they're behind, and it's just really looking like Stuyvesant is the team that's kind of finding themselves back in control despite still being down in gold and only having one tower.
While Porcupine Pillow is being chased away, they're probably not going to be able to protect this King's Ward. They ult onto Badwall on Porcupine Pillow. They're going to take a little bit of damage. This is a 1-3-1 right now for Forest Park High School, and Stuyvesant knew that, so they went for the engage. No hard CC. That chain is going to hit, but it's not really going to lead into anything. A decent amount of poke onto Badwall and Porcupine Pill. The dragon is up, so we might see Stuyvesant decide to go for it, or instead make another catch. Porcupine Pill needs to ult to get away. This is not great for Forest Park. Porcupine Pill dashes out as well. Flash hook from Badwall, but he actually took Rumble in and goes down. Meanwhile, fighting the mid lane, Wonder Boy has the flash to get out alive. Somehow, Forest Park is losing this fight. Stuyvesant High School pick up one kill, and with health bars of Forest Park, there's probably no way to test this dragon. Stuyvesant High School is making the comeback happen.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of Forest Park being in a bad position when they were already chunked low because of that earlier Rumble ultimate. And it doesn't matter how far ahead you are, you need to respect your health bar. You need to understand that if I'm at half health and they're not, they're going to have an advantage coming into this team fight. Also, I want to point out that it was a really good ultimate coming down from Gangplank there. Sizoi finding a really strong choke point there, but Forest Park's positioning was honestly questionable. Porcupine Pillow and Badwall were kind of by themselves, trying to contest against the 5 members of Stuyvesant, and Stuyvesant saw that and were able to pick up an easy kill in that 5v2 before Forest Park was even in position to respond.
Group Park Rain. What am I saying? Forest Park High School, that they did get caught out, and Stuyvesant picked up that 1 kill. That only a kill onto 1 member, but that still gave them the dragon. These advantages coming back. Red James now, he's gonna get caught out. A lot of crowd control, and this is what Forest Park High School needs. They need to make picks and stay grouped up. However, what objectives can they take from this?
I feel like the next thing they need to try to do now is just move to the mid lane. It's a 4v5.
Gonna land the hook. He's gonna go for will kill for Tacos. He has the equalizer up. A lot of damage onto Battle. Will kill for Tacos. Gets the equalizer. Does he get out alive? He just might. Oh my god, is on a killing spree. And Wonder Boy does not get the shutdown onto this Rumble. Twinberg's now gonna get stunned up, and that is 3 kills for Stuyvesant High School. They caught the support, but they lost their top laner, their support, and their mid laner. How do Stuyvesant win these fights?
Badwall is honestly playing way too aggressive here. He feels like he's ahead because Forest Park did have a lot stronger early game, but he's honestly making a ton of bad positional errors, getting caught out, landing hooks when he shouldn't be trying to land hooks. Like, there was no reason to try and fight in that jungle there. You have the 4v5, just push down the mid lane, try to get a mid tower. It's just a lot of bad decision making here. I feel like Forest Park had a really strong game plan in the beginning of the game. Let's lane swap. Let's try to get an early advantage. Let's try to dive the enemy top laner. And then after the laning phase was over, they just aren't sure what to do. They don't have direction. And it really makes me feel like they've planned out this early game before, when they've experienced lane swaps in the past, but they don't really know what to do in the mid to late game.
They really have made a number of mistakes, and now they're grouping up and trying to see something. But Ari is in the top lane, and they're actually behind in gold. This fight could go in favor of Stuyvesant. Vodcap's gets a lot of damage flashed away, and now Porcupine and D Wonderboy need to get out. D Wonderboy goes down. Omar got us on a rampage. Zizor gets the kill onto Vodcap, and there is still no Ari here. Twinbirds is just recalling as all of his team gets decimated. That is a 4-for-0 fight for Stuyvesant, and they are now up 4,000 gold. Stuyvesant.
Yeah, it was looking so good for Forest Park in the beginning of the game, but they were not able to take that lead and change it from an early game lead and snowball it into a mid game lead. They kind of just took the lead they had and threw it away piece by piece. And after you've dropped so many crumbs, you're not going to have any cookies left because the crumbs add up. And honestly, Stuyvesant has done a phenomenal job taking advantage of the mistakes that Forest Park is making, capitalizing on those mistakes and turning it into their own lead. And now they are definitely in control of this game. And I feel like it's just a matter of time now.
Been such a back from Stuyvesant. They're giving us and other. Well, that not only are they good at taking, they are also great at making comebacks happen. That being said, the game is still 5,000 gold with a large lead, but not completely insurmountable for Forest Park High School. The question is, by night, if they do want to come back here, what do they do? Maybe get a catch onto members of Stuyvesant. The thing is, though, they're all becoming so incredibly tanky at this point.
I feel like one of the main things they need to work on right here is getting more wards in their own jungle, because Stuyvesant has shown that they are not afraid to be aggressive. They're not afraid to make plays.
Well, Conscious is Zoe, but he's easily just going to be able to orange that off.
So what Forest Park needs to do is they need to ward up around their jungle so that they can get picks. They can try and grab
another hook. That's a lot of damage now. He is not going to be able to throw CCs, but the ultimate miss from Porcupine Pillow. A pretty good equalizer is going to divide the bet, but Beta Life picks a kill onto Wonderboy. Now Forest Park is on the back, but Porcupine Pillow still gets taken down. And Bad Wall is very low as well. Omar God is unstoppable. This is why you ban out Hisley Sin. That's going to be the double kill. And they are still looking for more. Swimbird has to use defensively. And we have just seen his skill shots and ults. Podcast doesn't have mana for the... What a play from Omar God. Oh, he does get the kill though, but now Vodcap's in huge trouble. Oh my God, safeguards for the HP, and he's still alive. That is a 5-0 in favor of a fantastic team, Stuyvesant High School. Wow. They just have such great synergy.
Their team fighting is above and beyond anything that I was expect to see from a high school League of Legends team. It's phenomenal. Every single player knows what to do in the different situations, knows how much damage they can take and how much damage threat Forest Park brings to the fight, and because of that, they're able to squeeze in as much damage as they can before getting out to safety, before ensuring that they don't die. And yeah, it's so sad to see Forest Park give away such a beautiful early game and just honestly show that they don't have the caliber of play now to fight against Stuyvesant in this mid game. And they continue to land hooks and they continue to go in when that's not the smart thing to do. You have to remember that Forest Park has a team that's going to outscale Stuyvesant. So if they did ward up their own jungle, if they just looked for picks where they had a massive advantage and besides that just farmed and tried to keep their towers alive, they could outscale. They could start to win team fights in 40-45 minutes. But because they're fighting these fights now when they no longer have the advantage, they're pretty much saying we're not patient enough to wait until we can win team fights just based on scaling, even if we don't have as strong of like team fighting mechanics.
Definitely nightmare. I'm sure that Forest Park is remembering game 1. They've done a good job so far, but they're now behind 9,000. One thing I do want to highlight, not only is the play fantastic from Stuyvesant, but you also have to give credit to Omar God. He originally was 0-1-0. As Forest Park was getting this early game lead, it didn't look like Omar was playing a great Lee Sin, but he is now 6-1-9 and has been involved in 15 out of the 18 kills his team has had. Stuyvesant High School looks really, really strong from any position, really. And we've been going for a potential Baron bait Bad Wall. He's been caught up before. He is going to have the ink ward there, but he needs to be very careful. They're going to get the catch onto him. Bad Wall's going to take the kick, take the equalizer. A good ultimate from Porcupine Pillow, but that is not going to be enough to save his support. Now, Bird's taken pretty low. Sizzler needs to be careful. He dodges the charm there, but this might just be enough for this Baron take as Stuyvesant High School continue to dominate Forest Park. On Pillow ends the zap, but Sizzler's just going to be able to heal himself up a little bit. Has its Spirit Visage, the Trinity Force, as well as, of course, that crit average blade and the Frozen Heart. The hook is going to land onto Swimbird. He takes a lot of damage. Ult away and no ult for Porcupine. Remember, Red James gets taken very low. Omar God needs to scapeguard away, but this could be the fight for Forest Park. Betty Life flashed in for the kill. He's going to apply the red buff. This is a lot more damage coming on, more than they probably expected. Vodcap's trying to do what he can on this Jinx. He has 5 to kills, but he is now out of mana. Nice hook onto Omar. He might actually go down here. Kicks away, and Badwall goes down instead. Omar is godlike. Porcupine Pillow probably going to go down here as well. And Stuyvesant High School show us many different ways that they can take advantage of it. And a flash kill. I'm pretty sure by night that we're not going to.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like it. And you talked about how well Omar God was able to come back after a 0-1 start. I want to point out that Will Clifford Taco's exact same story. Started the game 0-2-0 and is now 4-2-14. So meaning after the 10-minute mark, he's not died once and gotten 4 kills and 14 assists. And man, it's honestly really, really impressive the way that Stuyvesant was able to come back from an early deficit and just turn it into what looks like a dominating game for them.
Yeah, people who best jump think that, you know, the entire time Stuyvesant High School have been in the lead, but that really wasn't the case. You've said it before, and I really think it deserves saying, is that Forest Park, they had a very strong early game plan, but after that early game was over, it doesn't seem like they really have had any strong strategy, and Stuyvesant has just completely taken advantage of that.
Honestly, Stuyvesant looked really shaky in the lane swap, and I think if you are a team that is going to have to play against Stuyvesant in the quarterfinals, lane swapping might be something that you want to try against them, because it doesn't look like Stuyvesant has much practice against the lane swap, because honestly, it is a completely different game playing League of Legends with a lane swap compared to normal laning, and it's not something that most players have a lot of practice doing, because it doesn't happen in solo queue, it doesn't happen in normals, and most of the time, even in ranked 5s, it doesn't happen. So that could be a really good way to try and take advantage of Stuyvesant if you're playing.
Oh my god, he's gonna let the combo. Swimber takes a lot of damage. He goes down. A 2-minute ultimate from Porcupine Bill, but that's not gonna be enough to stop this team. Wonder Boy now in trouble. He does not have flash, and he does go down. That's a triple kill over to the Rumble. Not probably going to be able to pick up anything else as far as kills are concerned, but there has been a huge bot wave building, and they're definitely going to be able to take this turret, most likely in-hit as well. Sort of the last stand for Forest Pike High School. What can they do? Honestly, by I don't think they can do very much.
Yeah, at this point, they've just given up way too many kills, given up way too much, and there's nothing they can do here.
Look at those minions. Whoever prepped that wave, a minion prep god. 20 casters.
So, Forest Park tried their best, but in the end, I think it's pretty clear that Stuyvesant is the better team here.
Yep.
And they are real contenders, I think, for being the HSL champions for 2015.
Yeah, you know, it's only top 8, but the way that they've just taken Forest Park apart definitely makes a great case for trying to win this title. Sizzler now might get caught out. He is going to be locked down, but the members are around. Sizzler is going to go down. A great equalizer landing onto so many members. Forest Park lost a member, but they now need to be careful as Omar God goes in and goes out. Wonder Boy onto Beta Life, but he's going to go down. And Zoni is onto Will Kill for Tacos, keeps him alive. He's now silenced himself, but flashes in for the auto attack and picks up the kill. That is 3 kills. It's gonna be 4 in a moment. Badwall goes down. Omar God is not a god. He is a legend. And a Baron over 33 minutes in. Stuyvesant High School. They haven't won the game yet, but they might as well have. Oh, victory. Yep, surrender coming out. Stuyvesant High School move on to the semifinals in a dominating fashion.
Wow, that was honestly incredible. Stuyvesant showing that they are one of the best teams in all of North America, and not many high schools can compete even close to Stuyvesant's level of play. This has been a phenomenal showing from both teams, with Stuyvesant absolutely blew my mind. They look like one of the teams that is going to be showing up in the finals, I think, for the high school Star League.
Yes, they definitely look like one of the strongest teams I've seen so far, but there still are more games to be played. We will be seeing, I'm pretty sure we're going to be streaming a game tomorrow as well as Sunday night, so stick around for that. Of course, please do follow our social media, and thank you to our sponsors, Twitch, Tespa, Loot Crate, Jinx, MSI, Rocket, and Newegg for sponsoring the High School Star League, where these players are competing for for $35,000 in scholarship. If you want to talk to us personally, my Twitter is @Seamus1. By night, what's yours?
Mine is @Legend by Night, and definitely I'd love to carry on a conversation if you have questions about the High School Star League or League of Legends in general, or this game that was just unfolded before your eyes.
I have a lot of questions about this game.
Oh man, don't worry, I have all the answers.
And I was casting it. Wow, but anyway, that's gonna wrap it up from us tonight, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.